All right, Seed Collectors Volume 2 back in our lives. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in chat and joining us on the replay. I am Chad Westport, and like we said, Seed Collectors Volume 2. Woo! Tonight we're going to be showing off and talking about some of our favorite seeds that we've collected over the years, some of the ones that we hope to get, and some that probably got away. But I want to introduce everybody this evening. We've got a returning guest. I'm tempted to call him Mr. Root Beer himself, but DaveZnothere is down there on the bottom. How you doing, Dave?
Mr. Root Beer himself. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to show off some burgers and beer then.
Oh, jeez. He's already starting with that. Yep, you know. Mr. Root Beer. One of these days.
Definitely a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us, Dave. And in the upper corner here, well, I'm not looking at YouTube, but in one of the corners here, we got KeystoneCops. I'm gonna call him Keystone. But thanks for joining us, buddy. How you doing tonight? Perfect.
I'm good.
Now,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, it's my pleasure. It all kind of started organically. Me and Dave, we were together here with Fresh Baked on Volume 1, and we had just a good time. It was just such a fun, it was a casual conversation. Dave hit me up, afterwards. He's like, hey, man, I enjoyed that. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but yeah, I enjoyed that. It'd be fun to do again. You know what? We should do that again. And it was something that I wanted to do. A lot of you folks out there enjoyed that. And then I forget which show I was in chat, but if you know me, I'm in a lot of different chats. And I saw Keystone talking about seeds. And 3 little letters came out of his keyboard, IBL. And my heart started to pitter patter, because in terms of a lot of things, IBLs are very important, but it's another term, kind of like we talked earlier last week. Indica sativa, is it really used correctly? IBL, is it really used correctly? I'm already seeing lots of awesome people in chat. I know Mr. Toad, he'd be the one who, phone a friend for the definition on IBL. That's, you're phone a friend. But that's something that we kind of wanted to start out talking about tonight. And Keystone, you kind of had a few thoughts on just the terminology, how it's used, how it's applied, and experience with some of those strains. So if you don't mind sharing, maybe tell us a little bit about the IBL to you, and why my heart went pitter patter when I saw that.
Yeah, sure. So when I think of the term inbred line, or like when I first was introduced to the term, I wasn't really sure what it meant, but I guess I thought there'd be like a lot of uniformity in the seeds, or in the plants coming out of the seed. And then I started digging into it and trying to figure out what it meant. And looking at the botanical definition, it actually means a line of seeds or a line of plants that are continued strictly by selfing. And that surprised me. So S1, S2, S3 would be a true inbred line. Now, there are other sort of inbred populations that are quite common. There are, what are they called? Mass collections, where, if you just think about like traditional open pollination, and you're collecting all the seed from that, and then planting those seeds at the end of at the next year. That's just a mass collection. Or you could have pedigree breeding, which I think is closer to what we commonly find. I'm not a breeder, and a breeder would be better able to tell you what's common in the breeding world. But pedigree lines would be sort of picking two parents, breeding them together, popping 100 of their progeny, and then selecting 2 parents out of those 100 seeds, and then creating, so you've got your F1 seeds opened up, 2 of those are collected, are paired together, and you are making your F2, 2 F2s are paired together, making your F3, and so on and so forth. So I think that's sort of common practice. And there's got to be another. There's one, and it's just escaping me. But do you guys have any thoughts? Because I sort of covered sort of like open pollination, generation to generation, and then sort of directional breeding, like pedigree breeding, and then also there's just S1ing, or I'm sorry, selfing to replicate, to make generation after generation.
Yep. To me, when I think of or hear IBL, inbred line, the first thing that comes to my mind is not necessarily the lineage or how it got there, but its result is very homozygous, meaning it's very uniform. It's very the same. There's not a lot of variation in it. And as a commercial cannabis operation, that's absolutely what you want. You are not trying to pheno hunt in a large room. So a lot of these older lines, I feel, because it takes time to do this process. It's not an overnight thing. So to me, when I hear IBL, automatically, okay, they've put work into it. I'm going to get a very uniform result, and that's something that I would plant at scale. So that is why I get kind of excited, just because I know to actually pull that off, granted, anybody could slap letters on any pack of seeds, but the proof is in the pudding. When you plant an acre of them and your canopy is no more than 1 or 2 feet difference in that entire acre, that's solid. That's an inbred line. That took work. And that's why I get so excited, because you don't see a lot of that these days, in my opinion. It's just the starting material that we have or don't have. You can find these IBL lines out there, but they're not in the majority. And a lot of them aren't hype strains. So that's kind of where I fit in on IBLs, or when I hear IBLs, that's what I think. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that either, Dave.
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head as far as my opinions were. Getting the same results across the board as far as what you're planting, as opposed to it being all over the place. So that to me is what an IBL means, and what you're looking for, if that's the route you're going. And like you said, there aren't too many of them out there right now. I mean, they're out there, but just commercial, or what everybody seems to be looking for, like you said, is the hype strains, and the hype strains aren't worked that far yet.
No. And there's been talks, over the last, maybe at least 10 years of people going back to, and again, phone a friend, Mr. Toad, people going back to like land races. Oh, I'm looking for this land race, to kind of go back, reset the genetic pool and go that. A lot of those things are not fun to grow, and they don't give you the results or profiles that you really want. But that's a way to kind of get back to maybe stabilizing things. But we're going off on a different different tangent there. I was about to expand on it greatly, but I'm like, we're talking about seeds. But I also want to offer you, Keystone, just the opportunity to kind of answer that or talk to that as well before we do something here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like in other crops in the seed world, we're actually seeing true F1 hybrids, right? We're seeing uniformity out of Burpee Seed Co.,
Right.
out of Johnny Seed, because they have conventional breeding programs that are out in the open and they don't have to hide anything. And we just don't have that luxury, right? Like, I don't blame anyone for passing off like kind of not fully sussed out like lines as F1 hybrids. Like, that's fine, because we don't have the ability to do this legally in many cases, or we haven't for years. So, but like, people pass off F1 hybrids as something that are like sort of uniform, or they perform really well, but they aren't uniform. They talk about different phenotypes. You're going to get like 4 different phenos or 8 different phenos out of this, $200 pack of 10 seeds. And like, meanwhile, as you were pointing out, these inbred lines, whether you're getting there from mass selection like we talked about, or just pedigree selection, like, they offer a lot of uniformity. Not necessarily the same kind of performance. If your performance is like just putting on like spectacular weight or something like that,
Right.
but they're at least really predictable, which can have a lot of appeal to people. So yeah, I think they're pretty great. And we could go down a rabbit hole with land races. We probably shouldn't. We should just stay focused on inbred lines. But I think you'd be surprised. You were mentioning that you don't have many inbred lines in your collection, and I think you might be wrong about that, because I think so many of the sort of heritage Amsterdam quote unquote strains are actually inbred lines at this point, if people have been doing their work remotely diligently.
It's a good point that you bring up there, because that's kind of how I almost view the two markets. Dutch was ruling the world for a while, and America, now we can have places like Oklahoma and previously Colorado where you can have huge plant limits, and you can do these kind of searches and pull out things like Freakshow and the mutants. The more you pop, the more you're going to see these things. But the Dutch genetics, to me, it seemed like they were taking time to stabilize things, because that's kind of how they've always done. That's kind of the proper agricultural approach. They're a very they're great at agriculture, and they like following the rules of breeding. So I kind of think that they got stuck there, where America surpassed them in flavors, profiles, all of this stuff, but we never really took the time to inbreed them. So it's interesting that you mentioned a lot of those lines are probably stable, because that's been my experience. I do have some seeds from seed banks over there, and they are a lot more uniform. So good call.
So here, I've got a couple of Northern Lights packs from different breeders, and I try and get things like Northern Lights or Durban Poison. If I'm dealing with a new seed bank, I sort of look for those inexpensive Northern Light and Durban Poison packs, because I feel like that gives me a good sense of the quality of the work the breeder's doing. And also, there's a lot of work put into those lines. Like, they should be really, really stable. They may not be. They may be mislabeled. Who knows? But they should be really, really stable. And they're really affordable. I mean, they're not very much money at all. I don't remember what I paid for this. Probably $25 or something like that. And these are $50 each.
Okay. Now, when you're going through the different packs of Northern Lights from different breeders, are you seeing similar profiles and similar expressions? Would you typically say, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, this one is going to be like the next one? I ask because I'm about to do that with cheese. I've got about 6 different cheeses from UK vendors, or vendors over in Netherlands and whatnot. So I like your thinking, but do you see uniformity, or do you get different plants?
So that's a tough question to answer. And maybe the way I'll put it is, like, if you're buying just a 10-pack, like I've done here, and you're expecting to get a real sense of what that gene pool holds from that, or what that breeder's work looks like, you're not really doing the breeder justice, right? Like, if we really want to get a sense of what all is going on in an inbred line, we really want to get 100 seeds and really open it up, and really see. But no, I think they're going to be very different if you examine like one particular trait, or like the defining trait. There's going to be some differences there, because selection power is so powerful that, whatever direction the particular breeder decided to go in, they have a lot of power. And it's unlikely that they're both going to sync up. So for example, like Northern Lights from one breeder might be very lemony, and from another, it's more piney.
Yeah, very, very true there. Have you gone down the Northern Lights road, Dave?
I plan on it. I actually have some I see he's in the chat here. He had gifted Todd McCormick some of his Northern Lights number 5 and number 2.
Oh,
So
those
I'll
are great.
definitely be looking into those in the coming months.
Those are awesome. You know, I've definitely had my eyes on those too, and it's kind of one of those things. Sorry, I'm trying to reload my tablet so I can have my little seed cam as well. Um, we're gonna start getting grow reports back, and that's always interesting. That's like the one thing about freak shows for a while is we didn't necessarily hear a lot about how they were flowering, but a lot of these Northern Lights, the AGC Co. I'm a big A and B. Oh, I need to mute that. A and B kind of person, so that's why I was asking Keystone there, is if he's getting the same or similar look off of it. Let's see here. There's some Royal Queen seeds. This is probably a little bit easier, but Royal Queen seeds there, let's see, we got their blue cheese. We got some Exodus cheese.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't like that camera. Garden of Green. And I'm hoping it will be what I'm looking for. Is there's cheese, there's skunk, they're always on my list. But and then another blue cheese, just random blue cheese here, some seeds. But I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I got a whole bunch of different varieties because I'm expecting differences.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, most of my experience with NL has generally been crossed into things, nothing really pure like these. So that's why I really want to see what these do.
Yeah, I back in the day, so most of my genetics are about 10 years old. That's when I got into the medical market. And I had a Northern Lights clone back then, and I made my crosses. So really probably the closest, and again, they're not inbred lines anymore, especially, but starting with a Northern Lights number 5, starting with a blueberry, because they were so worked, their traits stand out, they're predictable, and then I'm able to gauge how what I put them against reacts and what it passes on. So it was nice to work with those, and a lot of my strains or cultivars are kind of that way. Is I started with something that didn't give off a bunch of phenotypic expressions, really. And I'm kind of going down that path again. But so are the seedsmen from our Northern Lights as well?
No, so these are, I've got original skunk and original Afghan number 1. And these are advertised as true breeding strains. So to me, having them in my library gives me some material that I could use them for breeding down the road, or to give to someone else for their breeding project. Before I would do that, I would do an increase on a pack like this, just to open it up and have more to play with, if I was going in that direction.
And increase, you mean if that was a pack of regulars, you would find a good male, good female, put them together, and then use that offspring to work with?
Yeah, whether they were regulars or femmes, these are both regulars, but what I would do is I would grow, all 10, and I would, any males, I would open pollinate them with any females that are there, take all of those seeds, and then I have a good sense of the genome there that I'm working with, and I would start sifting through those, maybe in quantities of, if I had the luxury of it, I'd sift thousands. We don't have the ability to do that. I can maybe deal with 25 plants at a time with my current setup, and 75 in total is sort of giving me a better idea of what's in there.
Yeah, and it's something. It's a fact that we all know. The more numbers you can do, the better picture you're going to get. The more accurate it is. Really, that's kind of the proper way to go. That's the Dutch way to go about it. But a lot of us 10, 15, maybe 20 might be the most plants that we're, allowed to do in our state, or B, have room for. So we do have to make some executive decisions in those regards.
Yeah, totally. That's why I generally limit myself to running 5. I would love to run 75 of each, just to get a real idea of what everything is, and to see what the best of the best is. But space dictates what I can run. So
Yeah,
I guess what I mean there, Dave, is when I'm talking about 75 as a number, what I would do is do an increase and have 1,000 seeds, or many more than 1,000, and then from there I do a tray of 25, and then maybe keep the best ones in clone, but then do another tray of 25. So you can cumulatively get to larger population numbers if you do it like that. It's not optimal, but you can make it work if you have to.
True, I see what you're saying.
Yep. And one thing that I've kind of thought of recently in regards to trying to search through seeds, and this isn't necessarily cloning them to save them, but say you made seeds and you want to see what kind of expressions you have. You mentioned a tray of 25 there, and that's why it came into my head, because you could almost just see of green 25 plants fairly easily. Just pop them, get them up, put them into flower. You're not going to get a yield off of them, but you're going to see kind of at least the expressions that they put off.
Eventually, I just pare them down to just one main stalk, and that's worked pretty well for getting numbers in.
Yep, and that's totally the good sea of green there. And you're right. If you pop them and then go straight to flower, you do kind of get the flavor and smell profile, but you don't get to see its morphology, how it really wants to grow. You don't get a good sense of pest resistance. Those are things that could come later. But I was just thinking, you make some seeds that yourself at home. You got 500 of them. Pop 25 to see how many expressions you have, and if it's all dog crap, well, don't bother, throw them in a forest somewhere. But if there's hope, then you could kind of go back through them again, let them progress, pick the winners that way, and make clones. But yeah,
it's brutal. I mean, you're going to see, if anyone does this, they're going to start to see, do we swear here? You're going to see a lot of dog shit, popping up, because the loss of vigor can be quite rapid, in my experience. So, and then you just have to keep selecting for vigor and stressing them, really putting that pressure on, letting them get moldy, letting them get exposed to pests, so that they do retain those abilities to fight those things off. Not that they gain them, but you're culling out the things that are susceptible.
Right, and actually, ironically, we got Greg McAllister here. He's talking, speaking of Northern Lights. Northern Lights, he'd plant 72 to 100 seeds per flat and keep 1 or 2. So, when it comes to discerning tastes, that's a picture of kind of what it looks like. We may plant 10 and keep 1, and 2 or 3 and be stoked. Sometimes you plant 100 and you keep 1 or 2, and that's a lot of work. Like you said earlier, Keystone, 25 was a good manageable number to be on top of everything, and I agree with that. That's about right for me. And he says out of 100, 1 or 2 were seeded, and the others ended up in the trash. Oh, trash. Pre-press days, right? Smash the trash. What we got here now? Let's see.
Okay, so we've got Afghan Kush, just classic.
Oh yeah.
From World of Seeds, very inexpensive, just sort of an easy thing to throw in the cart as an add-on with a larger purchase. I believe I got these from Seedsman.
Okay.
And this is Katama, which is a Moroccan hash plant.
Huh. Not heard of that one myself.
Yeah, they say it runs for 50, 55 days in flower. I've heard it goes a lot longer. So I'm not sure they really... Well, I don't want to say anything bad about World of Seeds, but
Right.
I've just heard that maybe they're a little bit off with how long it flowers for, so maybe some of the other information is off too. And I haven't even opened the pack yet, so who knows?
Yeah, that's not terribly irregular either, as far as flowering dates, harvest dates. Not everybody gets them accurate. There's a lot of variables that could go into it. It's not just somebody trying to mislead you. Sometimes it is, but other times it's not. That's one of those ones that commonly kind of get out of proportion, but it's important to me. Flowering time is important. So I see, you've collected, Seedsman's a great place, and a lot of European seed banks. Is that kind of one of the places that you look for? A lot of these yeah, I'll say older genetics, but also more stabilized lines. Do you find better luck looking there than locally?
I'm smirking. You can't see it, but I'm smirking. So no, I mean I don't want to say anything bad about what's going on in Europe, but I would caution anyone that's buying European seed right now to think carefully about that, because there's a lot of white labeling going on, meaning just they're producing seeds in mass through wholesalers. So you might buy, and I'm just again spitballing here, but you might buy Seedsman and Nirvana, and they're actually coming from the same seed source. And I'm also pretty concerned about what looks like viral stuff coming out of some European seed banks. It's more common than it should be, so I don't know what's going on there. But back to what your question was, like where am I buying most of my seeds? I'm buying most of my seeds from American breeders, preservationists working in America.
Okay. Awesome.
So these are just beautiful packages. Humboldt Seed Company, just great artwork. And for that alone, I mean, I picked up a couple of their packs.
Yeah.
I haven't opened any of their work up yet, and I'm going to have to open something up before I buy any more of their work. I do have Mango Kush from them, and someone I was talking with on a forum had it Herm on him, and so that was a bit of a red flag for me. And so you never know. It could have been his fault, but I just, before I go and buy any more of their packs, which are $100 plus, I'm gonna have to run some of their work.
Yeah. I've run the Freakshow recently from them. I don't know if Dave's run anything from them.
I have not personally run anything from Humboldt yet.
Okay.
I pulled out just.
Let's see here.
Bohd's always hard to see. He's always hard to see on camera.
Bohd's another one that I would love to get a shot at, but he travels and pulls some unique cultivars, puts them together, and then lets them go. What strains are we looking at here? And if you know,
all different ones.
Oh,
my personal favorite that I've grown from him, is it there already?
So I'm curious about a lot of the lineage on a lot of the crosses that he has.
This one right here is my personal favorite. This is the DJ Blueberry to Apollo 11 F3.
Ooh.
So it's the DJ Short Blueberry and Brothers Grimm Apollo 11. He took the Apollo 11 to the F3, leaned it towards the Genius, away from the Princess, and what a combination! Just absolutely wonderful. I ran 5 of them because that's unfortunately the number I can work with, and I happen to get 4 males and 1 wonderful female.
Well, hey, no complaints, I guess. Did you kind of go for the open pollination to kind of preserve, like Keystone was talking earlier he likes to do?
I've kept her around, and I'm going to look for more males and continue to. I will open pollinate with what I have there. I'm going to actually pop the rest. I think there's another 7 of them in there. So I'll run the last 7 and just open pollinate them with the lady I already have.
Okay. Now, are you like me when I have a male and I have something specific I want to cross it to, but I have like three other cultivars in the tent? Are you like me and just takes clones and hits them all anyways?
Yes.
Or okay, yeah, good. I'm okay. Why waste it? Because again, I do the I let the male flower. I shake the crap out of it. That's how I make my seeds. I don't actually do the collection and then self pollinate or paint them on myself. So yeah, that's why I'm just like, yeah, let's just fill the tent with a little bit of everything, and then eventually one day I'll get to trying them and see what I got.
Exactly. Yeah, to me that only makes sense. 'Cause there's just so much out there. So much you have no idea what I'm looking at in front of me right now.
No, I don't, but I can kind of imagine. But Bodhi's another one that he's not. Where do you get the Bodhi stuff? Usually, it's like you got to find him, or you got to run into him, or you got to do something.
There are the occasional outlets online you can find them. Generally, any of the newer drops will get picked up pretty quickly. But some of them, if they're older, you got to find them through an auction. The DJ Blueberry and the AE77 Calio Apollo 11, those were both given to me from Bohd. I actually got them in an auction through you guys through the Future Cannabis Project last year, and it hooked me up with him, and he sent me those, and it was I can't complain. Can't complain at all.
That's awesome. I'd love to run into that guy one day. Um, when I was a kid, you'd be looking through like the Christmas catalog, and you'd be dreaming. You'd be like, okay, if I could have whatever. So I kind of want to do the same thing with your little stash here of Bodhi. I see kind of three different rows. Now, if you had to go through each one of those three rows, which one would you pick above the other in that row, and why would you pick it?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, I'd say probably that Super Silver Hash plant. I've always been a Super Silver Haze fan, so combining that with the 88 G13 hash plant, which is just such a fantastic male from Bohd that he's hit to so many things. So that middle row looks pretty good to me. You get the DJ Blueberry, the Super Silver Hash plant, second base, and the Dream Axis.
That's the winner. And do you know what some of those crosses are? What's in Dream Access?
I mean I'm sorry, the Sunshine Daydream. That's going to be the male in there. As far as what's in Access, not 100% sure. He has some crosses out there that even escape me with my wonderful knowledge.
Repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. No, again, kind of like I was saying though, he picks, finds, and works with a lot of things that when he talks about them, that's the first time I've ever heard of them. So I'm not surprised if the knowledge isn't out there readily
Mm-hmm.
available. Okay, so you take that middle row, and have you popped? I know you popped some of the blueberries. Have you popped any of the others?
The only other one that I've popped was the NL2 88G13 hash plant. And that
Okay.
was definitely just an absolute knock your dick in the dirt, put you to bed kind of a high to it. As far as the structure was concerned, very, very stout, not too tall, just just a dumper, just an absolute dumper. But that was one I only ran in 5 because it's just how I have to do it.
Yep,
But
and
yes.
that's how I'm currently rocking it too. When it comes to good genetics, I can't pop the whole pack and have the whole room. So yeah, I kind of go through a little bit at a time. And then sometimes it piques your interest, so you're like, I'm going back for the rest, or you're like, okay, you're good, I'm gonna try this next. So yeah, space permitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my problem is I tend to grab something else and then it bumps the line. It's like, oh, I want to run this. Well, then I grab this. It's like, well, what do I want to run next? It's like, well, I got some Black Line Reserve. Should I run those? It's like, well, I got some peanut butter breath here. Should I run those? It's just it just never ends. It's like, what am I going to run next?
Yeah, it's so hard. We pay so much for the seeds, but then we also pay a huge opportunity cost by like just not growing things we want to be growing. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Just let me grow all the seeds I want to grow. I paid for them. I'm going to pay for the electricity. Just let me.
I see you have some of that Freakshow though.
Yeah.
And are those all 20 packs, or what is common from them, or what do you commonly pick up? Like 10s, 20s, 5s?
So I tend to buy regular seeds, but I don't have a problem with feminized seeds. This is a regular 20 pack. This is a 10 pack of feminized seed, and this is a 20 regular pack. This was the initial release of Freakshow, and it's just too interesting not to snatch up. The Australian Bastard Cannabis. I haven't picked up any seeds, any of that. Just morphologically, it's not as interesting as this to me. This could almost be planted in public until it starts to flower. And even then, unless someone knows what cannabis is, I think it could fool them if it's not too pungent. So if you bred this into something, it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. I almost kind of wonder, since we're at the cusp of people really trying to patent genetics and whatnot, there's no denying if you have any of that DNA in the genetics and they test it and they look for it, you know who that plant came from. So that's an interesting experiment we'll see in probably about 10 years with Freakshow, if that's really just the Trojan backdoor to like, nope, those are my genetics. I can prove it with this allele right there. So
well,
we'll see.
We should talk about patent law sometime. I know a bit about that, but I suffice to say I wouldn't be too concerned about any of that happening. But
that's one of those just fun grand conspiracy theories to pop out. It's like, you know what, there could be truth in it, but there probably isn't. And no, there isn't. But sometimes it's fun to make stuff up. But I could see it happening. But yeah, it's a
people
great...
People will try. Yeah,
yep,
people will try.
It's a great strain, and I've heard really kind of nothing but good things from them. A lot of flavor. I was talking with Dave, the king of root beer. We were talking last time about what kind of motivates you to buy particular strains. So I kind of want to ask that to you, Keystone. Do you kind of shop for taste? Are you shopping for lineage? Is it name recognition? What makes you select the packs that you want to, and when you do?
So sometimes it's about the flavors that they're claiming to bring to the party. I just sort of want to have a library that's got a lot of breadth there. I care a lot about medical effect. So if a variety is addressing, if it's supposed to be anti-inflammatory for some people, I'm interested in that. That's the kind of medicine that I need. Really just having diversity. So, for example, like this is Jack Herer. There's lots of Jack Herer out there. This is their take on Jack Herer. It may be that they had to build it from the ground up and make their own representation of it. And so it could be different from Hazeman's Jack Herer or Seedsman's Jack Herer. And that's one reason I'll get some redundancy. That's kind of it. Sometimes it's just impulsive, it's oh, that looks pretty and it's going to be gone pretty soon.
Right.
But usually I'm thinking about I'm pretty careful with what I purchase, and I'm thinking about my collection as a whole, and just bringing in new stuff that's really expanding the breadth of what I've got.
Mm-hmm. That's excuse me, but yeah, variety in my garden is very important to me. Again, kind of different terpenes will do different things for me, and I kind of try to approach it medicinally. So yes, having that variety is important, and it all starts, with the seeds or the clones that you have. So a little bit of everything, and if you do find, like you said, that Jack Herer, if you find something that you like or that works for you, go across the board. Like we were all kind of talking with the Northern Lights and with my cheeses, where we're trying a whole bunch of different ones to settle in on that final one. But I know, Dave, right now, what is kind of your flavor of choice as far as consumption? And then I'm going to ask you which seed pack would you plant to try to get that. But what is your flavor of choice at the moment?
I mean, personally, I've always been a huge fan of that sour diesel, that old school New York City sour diesel flavor. So that's something that I've always been kind of looking for and chasing. Um, as far as popping something, I guess I can go with like a Karma Genetics. Their sour diesel BX3 would be something I would look into for that kind of a flavor, because they've definitely they've worked it, and it's something that I've would like to look into. But I've also grabbed something from Skunk Tech, which is a headband and Triangle Kush, which is just a great combination to get that similar profile that I'm looking for. And that earthy kind of gassy, not maybe more gassy than diesel, I guess I should say, but it's a good combination of both.
Okay. And let's see, I like that sour D taste too. It's been a while since I can convince myself that I've had it, but I do miss it, and it is a good one. The closest I've got here in seed form is a pack of it's from Goo Getters, but it's called Sunday Fun Day right now. It's a sour tangy times mimosa. So there's hopefully a little bit of sour in there. I'd almost like, who knows if it's gonna be like a sour citrus. I threw one in the dirt. It's a male, so I've got to throw a couple more in. But again, I'm limited. It was one of those like, well, maybe I could squeeze one more in. Why don't I just pop one of these? But yeah, I'm going through my the Twin Peaks right now. Actually, I'll pop that one up here in a minute. But I see Keystone's popped something up on here as well. What you got there? It's a green.
Well,
pack.
I'm on a bit of a lime kick at the moment. I'm hunting through a couple of different varietals from seed, and this is one of them. This is a true IBL. It's Chernobyl S1 from Bob Bitchin's seeds. I'm unfamiliar with it, but I did pick him up in my lime hunt. And the plant's doing really well. I'm not getting limed yet, but it's not in flower. And so paired with that, I've got Black Sugar from Seedsman, and this isn't limey. It's Gold Leaf. It's Bergman's Gold Leaf, which is sort of a white label type thing. I don't even know what its origin is, but I'm chasing after this sort of citrusy lime soda flavor. That's what I'm pursuing these days. And when I find the perfect cultivar, I'm probably going to move on to something else. Just keep it in clone.
And when you say citrus as in like orange citrus or like a lemon citrus, grapefruit, what are you looking for there?
Yeah, I mean, really specifically, like the smell you get from like Sprite.
Okay.
That's really what I'm looking for. So that's the best way I can describe it. Not super caustic, because you can sometimes get like that orange peel or that lemon peel, I find those can be just a little harsher. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Nothing that burns your eyes.
Yeah.
And yeah, caustic. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. Caustic. My Jack's Cleaner 2, which I've actually brought my TGA seeds out here for. that will eat the rubber ring on the ball jar
Ah,
around the top. It turns it into mush. It's kind of cool. But the lime is a really popular hunt right now. I know like Brandon Russ, he's got a lot of that the black lime reserve or the key lime pie. Not something I've been able to get my hands on yet. But I do enjoy smoking it. I'm still waiting for one to. You know how sometimes though people will plant the taste in your head before you taste it, and you're like, yeah, that does taste like banana. But if they said it tasted like kiwi, you're like, kind of like kiwi. I have yet to have that really lime cultivar that makes me say, oh, I just bit into a lime. But
Yeah.
I know Dave is on the hunt as well too. You've picked up a few. Have you picked up anything from Brandon Rust yet on that one, Dave?
I have his TKNL5 Haze Lime 1 BX. That I do have from him, but I haven't run it yet.
Okay.
The only lime that I've been able to run so far is this one here from Jimmy Toucans, the Limelight 5, which is the 87 lime pop hit to the NL5, and that was more of a creamy lime. It wasn't like you were that's like just having like taking a bite out of a lime or squeezing a lime into a drink or anything like that.
Right.
It was more of that creamy kind of a lime.
Like
But absolutely
like a
delicious.
creamsicle. Okay.
Like key lime.
Key lime pie is exactly
Yeah.
how I would describe it.
Okay, perfect. That would be good, and that's totally what I'm looking for. I saw somebody up here, I think it was Vape Ape, he says, my key lime pie smells and tastes like garlic and onions. No! That happens. That's totally different than what you would expect, but yeah, sometimes we get these weird ones. So out of the kind of the group that you've got up here right now, Dave, which one are you kind of tempted to put in the dirt next?
Probably these two from this one specifically from Mean Gene, the Lime Pop Kush F3 number 2, and this is the Black Lime Reserve. It's from Ozark Nation, who got it from Mean Gene. So that would be that's his work to take it to F2. So that's another one that's got me interested.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd run them all if I had the space, but I would say these two definitely have my eye the most.
Awesome. And let's see here. I put this up here. I brought this one out, but my TGA. This is the old, my Jack's Cleaner too. Like this is back from the day. I had to take it off. I had to bring this out though. I'm so proud, of the seeds. There. Let's see. What do I have? In here I've got the Agent Orange. I still have a few of the Agent Orange from March of 2014. I only have 3 left. Yeah, Jack's Cleaner. And I loved when they used to put them in these little like cologne sample bottles. They were glass, but it's a really safe way for them to ship versus some of the plastic ones. I've had the plastic ones get crushed in the mail, but yeah, I don't know. I'm proud of my TGA seeds. All right. Let's see here. And again, a lot of my stuff goes back about 10 years. So that is that. Those were those. But yeah, for real, that Jack's Cleaner too, man. That will eat the rubber ring in the ball jars. So let's see. What do we put down here?
So this is Guamanian. Go on. Sorry.
I was just sorry to interrupt you. I was like, oh, that looks like a familiar logo. What is that?
This is Guamanian Gardens, and I have no experience with it yet, but I decided to pick it up because this is their SR71, which is just purple kush. They brought it to F5, and so when I get the chance years from now, I can't wait to open it up and see what they've done with it. Really a nice value too. I think this was under $50, and it came with a bonus pack as well. Kind of a great deal.
Yeah, that is a great deal because again, even I always say especially with $50 pack. Even if you get one female, you grow that out, and you get a quarter ounce off of it. That's more than $50 at the store. So you've done well. Yes.
Definitely.
I like that one. And let's see here. One of those in the lower left is I can almost not read that. It's like, oh, lineage Kush times Oz
Oh,
Kush.
it's lime,
Lime
pop,
pop.
lime pop Kush.
Okay.
So it's that same lime pop Kush, F3, which is the Ghost OG lime pop, which is pure Kush and black lime, hit to the Skittles and OG Eddie.
Wow.
Right.
That's a mouthful.
This is, yeah, oh yeah, from Urban Terp Factory. Sorry.
Okay. Now, how often, this is kind of more of like a strain name thing, but both of you guys, how often have you popped a pack of seeds, like an outrageous Tangy, or, a Black Lime Reserved, or Super Lemon, and not had the taste be represented by the name and be totally thrown? Is that fairly common, or do you guys tend to feel like the fruity names match up with the profiles?
So I don't have to call out a specific breeder, right? I can just say yes or no.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I think more often than not, it feels like you just, if you look at the seed market as a whole, you just don't get what's advertised for one reason or another.
Right. And again, that could just be boiled down to they need more work to give off that consistent expression that you said that it has. So crazy bitch.
Crazy bitch.
Okay.
This is a pack from Copa Genetics. He's one of my favorite breeders. Full disclosure, I actually just started testing for him, and I've got a lot of his work. And I brought this out because as a freebie attached to it, we were talking about Bohd before. This is Ancient OG F3. Now, I don't know what his relationship with Bohd is. I mean, Bodhi's just such a nice guy, it seems, that he's letting everyone work with his stuff. This is an inbred line, which is what we're talking about. And I haven't opened it up yet, but this is a preservation project of Bodhi's work. So I don't know if you guys have anything like that where people are taking Bodhi's work or Subcool's work and taking it in a different direction, taking those F1 hybrids that are so popular and then really trying to stabilize it. Or I don't know what his goal is here with it.
Well, I mean, I've got some AK Bean Brains working the Williams Wonder. I believe this is the F4. So it's definitely something along the lines of preserving older seed stock that's been around for longer than I've been alive, most likely.
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned I was talking while I was muted there earlier, rookie over here. But you mentioned Keystone, somebody taking some of the older work and preserving it, and I just wanted to shout out Miranda Family Farms. He did a little giveaway for an old pack of Dairy Queen, which is a TGA strain as well. It was Romulan times cheese times Cindy 99, I believe. And anyways, with that, he sent me out three packs of stuff. One though, so Lemon Stilton was a TGA strain, and he times it to Zinger, which I believe was the dank strain. So there we go. So this is kind of a cross that's preserving two of those lineages and keeping that going forward. There was also Two Suits, which is Zinger. Again, that was I believe a TGA or a dank strain times PBJ. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'll have to ask him. But I also wanted to show this one. It is, let's see, a Hazy Margarita times Afgoo Overdrive But I wanted to show this one because the name of the strain, as you can see, is Bike Seat. And I love telling this story, and I butcher it like every time. But sometimes names make sense, sometimes they don't make sense. Here, I'll put his stuff on the back there. Miranda Family Farms. So anyways, he was basically, he rode his bike around everywhere, had it locked up outside on the city. He lives in the city, and he just came out and like his bike was stolen, but they left the bike seat. And he's like, well, that's fucked. But he got a strain name out of it, so Bike Seat. That's where that one comes from.
Hey, some of the best strain names come from stories like that.
Yep. What I guess I could ask you guys, what is probably one of the most random strain names or seeds that you have in your collections right now? Because I mean, Bike Seed is it's not random. It's got a story, but the story is so just randomly awesome. What if you had to pull out something that didn't make sense? And where'd my Dairy Queen go? Ah, there it is.
Good question. I guess maybe like Pie Scream or something like that.
Pie Scream. Oh god, that's a random fucking photo. That's a little disturbing. The hell is going on?
That's some big delicious dessert. That's what's going on.
Oh, so what is Pie Scream a cross of? Does it have any information on there on that one?
Of course, no, it doesn't have any information. I'd have to go and look it up for you.
Oh, no worries. No worries. I'm just always curious. That is one thing that I do appreciate about breeders, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Bohd or was it Duke Diamond that would basically tell you how to grow it and everything to look for right on the seed pack? Kind of came, with handy tidbits. Okay, so there's a... And that's sure. Duke Diamond, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a breakdown of what, morphology, flowering time, growing notes. I mean, it's not really coming in the best on my camera, but...
Right. See, those are the things I'd like to see. That would be awesome. And again, that kind of shows you that the breeder did some work with it. They at least ran the offspring.
Any time he has one come out, they always come with a nice, good breakdown of information that's definitely vital to what you would need.
That's great.
Nice, awesome. Yeah. I like seeing that there. And what was that? It was Ganny Skunk and...
You got Dominion Skunk, Granny Skunk, and Munson.
And Munson. Is Munson a skunk as well, or...?
Yes, it's the Dominion Skunk hit with the NL5.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
No, and that's part of the fun skunk hunts. There's a lot of skunks out there, and there's a lot of great skunks out there. Not really roadkills, but still a lot of great stuff out there. And let's see here. What is it? Everything Delightful. That sounds like...
I wasn't expecting this question. Most interesting names. But this, I love this. This is... Will you indulge a bit of a tangent here?
Hit it up.
This is great. So this is DJ Short. This pack, Everything Delightful, is about like 50%, like 30% cheaper than his normal packs. Still not inexpensive. It's still about $100. And this is a random medley. You do not know what you're getting in this pack. You have some idea. It's, possibly leftover blueberry, newberry, velvet crush, first light, breeder's choice mixes, 2, 3, and 4. Temple Flow could be in here. Wow. So you really don't know, and I love that idea. And the reason I do is it's like how do I put it? It's like going in blind. Like a true blind experiment. You don't know. You'll never know, unfortunately, what varietal you were growing, but that makes you more objective, I think. Like you have to appreciate the plant for what it is and set aside any preconceived notions about what it's going to do. But then again, you don't know what it's going to do. So there's that, right?
There is. I do like that aspect though, and a lot of times we'll see that pop up. You'll get like an indoor mix or an outdoor mix because if you've ever dealt with seeds, they're round, they roll, they fall on the floor, and if you're working with multiple strains, you can't pick that seed up off the floor and be like, "Well, I think it's this." So, good breeders, seed houses like that will come up with fun packs like that. You're like, I've got a jar in there. It's like, I know it's one of 6 plants. I don't know which of the six it is, but I know it's one of six. So, yeah, those do offer opportunities. And, in the case of DJ Short, who puts in a lot of great work to stabilize lines, make them very homozygous, if you've grown if you've grown the flow for many years and all of a sudden a flow pops up out of that pack, you're going to be like, I know which one this is. So that's kind of fun too, I think.
Yeah, it's not like he's giving out testers here.
No,
that's not what this is.
Right.
But you are signing up for a bit of an experiment,
Yeah, that's why I have the jar in there. It's one of those, but I have enough to go through. Always.
Do we want to talk about more inbred lines?
Yeah, please. Let's keep going on that one. What are some of your favorites there that you haven't shown us yet?
Okay, so this is absolutely one of my favorites. This is Pakistani Citral Kush, and this is from Humboldt CSI, Inspecta. And I will say a little hard to get seeds from. Just that, without getting into how he does transactions, a little bit old school. Still very secure, very trustworthy, really great value. I can't recommend that seed bank enough to anyone. But he just deals direct. You're going breeder direct with him. It'll take a little while to get your stuff, but you will get it. And I'm really excited about this. So I have 31 of these seeds in total. My plan, not right now, I don't know when I'm going to schedule it in, but I'm going to I think I'm going to open all of them up, or at least half of them up, and then just do a really large seed increase to preserve this and have stuff to play with. Stuff to give away, stuff to play with, stuff to back up for later.
Now, as a plant, what about it did you like? Was it a really good one to grow? Was it the flower at the end? Because sometimes the flower is great. It's horrible to grow, but you do it anyways. Or, vice versa. Sometimes something that always yields and is easy is maybe an 8, not a 10. You still keep it around.
Yeah, I haven't grown this myself yet. The reason that I'm so excited about it is that I had a cross of, it was presented as a cross of Black Domina and Pakistani Citral Kush, and it gave me amazing sciatica relief. Just best night's sleep in a long time. Now, I do not expect to find that again, but if I do, I'll be really excited.
Okay. I'm writing it down. My wife deals with sciatica, and again, I realize everybody is different, but hey, sometimes if I hear it, I'll try it. Because that is a strain that we do see every so often around here. And I'm always excited when we do. So good to hear. Good to know.
I at least know the nose that I'm looking for. I'll know it when I smell it.
Yep.
And hopefully that gives me an idea of the chemovar. Like I'm getting closer to what I'm looking for. So yeah, that's Humboldt CSI. This is under the Pirates of the Emerald Triangle label, which confused me a bit. So he just decided to do some of his releases under this label.
Yeah, it's all the regular stuff. All the regular seeds are released under the Pirates of the Emerald Triangle line.
Let's see. Mr. Toad is saying the PCK line is great. Hardy Seeds has some killer PCK work. Peter, yep, Hardy's got the PCK. That is awesome. And Alex Hardy, for a lot of you guys who don't know, he's kind of a regular here on Future Cannabis Project and FCPO2. And we do have a lot of his gear, Mr. Toad's gear as well. I'm just putting this up because we're all seed collectors here. But Daga.love, you can always check that out. We got a ton of awesome stuff there. But not to distract you guys, I just saw that in comments because, again, finding that in seed form, not as easy for me as finding it in the flower form. So wanted to get that one up there. And Mike Denver here, he says the green pheno of PCK is good too. I just like the flavor. So how can you have a plant called purple and he'll still have it green? That's me. I'm silly. All right.
I'm still highlighted, so I'll jump right forward. So, so this is an Uzbekistani inbred line, and I actually don't have any more information on it than that. I didn't really get anything from Inspecta, and if you look at the website, you're really not getting any more information than that. Just the name of it, and I guess because I haven't heard anything about it, I'm really interested in what's inside here. So again, it'll be sort of more of a landrace. I expect something sort of, well, I don't know what to expect. So we'll see. But I trust Inspecta. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like he's not going to put out something that's not good or not, of utility in some way.
Reputation goes a long way. And, it's easy to maybe be the hot shit for a year and a few releases, but the longer you stay around, you have to come through with good gear, and that's what builds a good reputation. So when you do find breeders like that, yeah, it's nice to have that peace of mind of like, I know I'm going to get something solid. It may not be exactly what I'm looking for, but I know it's not going to be, a herm monster or just something that is just don't even want to give it to anybody really, for that matter.
Well, let's assume for a second that it's a landrace that's been cultivated and, seed has been made year after year through mass selection. So the genotype as a whole it's just going to contain so much. It's going to be a cultivatable plant, but there could be flavors in here that just aren't in the market. They're just not commercially available for one reason or another. You won't know it until you grow it, right? But that's sort of my feeling on something like this. I have never heard of an Uzbekistani strain.
No.
I've never heard of something like that.
No.
Yeah, honestly, the only one I have is the from Snow High and Legendary Genetics, and it's just the male, an Uzbekistani male that was used. And he even recommends, please make more. Would love to have back.
Right. Yeah. Preserve it. Kind of crowdsource it. That's that definitely can be done with seeds.
And he's somebody who specifically works with older stock. Deep Chunk, Packy Sativa, Panama Poison.
Now, Deep Chunk, that Tom Hill, was that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
His father worked it, and he's continued to work it.
And then it brings it into like a Pakistani sativa. So, I might be using it improper, but like the landrace, I always picture the side of the mountain, they're going and pulling some seeds and then planting that, and whatever it is, beautiful or not, that's what we're running with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that's where, again, I think that's going to open up a lot of the gene pool. But it still has to be worked sometimes into something desirable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing is we're taking them out of their natural environment, and it's really difficult to acclimatize something like that. Like, that shouldn't be... Like, anyone who's looking at something like this and going, oh, yeah, I'm going to definitely grow that. Like, you're signing up for something. Potentially. I mean, again, and I don't know, but if you take an actual landrace, if you went to Uzbekistan and grab a handful of seeds and bring them back, and I've done this before, you're taming something. That's really what you're doing. I mean,
Right.
it's tame in its native environment. It's been cultivated. By definition, the landrace has been cultivated by the people that live there. But you're maybe trying to replicate that dry environment that it's used to, the altitude it's used to, the type of sun and soil and everything else that it's used to, and it can be a lot. I've never had success at it myself.
I guess you are signing up for something and taking kind of a high risk, and I guess knowing the origins and your geographical location too will be a benefit. If you could get the same latitude at least, or longitude, you guys know what I mean. Then that would be helpful, or at least increase your chances. But taking an equatorial sativa and bringing it up to Homer, Alaska might not be ideal. Whereas maybe one of the strains from the Hindu Kush mountain range might be a little more accustomed to that type of environment. So yeah, I could see that.
But I don't know about you, Chad, but Dave, you'd be indoors just like me, and I don't have room for 9-foot tall plants.
I don't either.
No, I can't. I had some Irie genetics that actually sitting around here somewhere. Lemon Sunrise. That just took over my tent. Wonderful strain, loved it. We'll grow it again. But in my head, I'm like, when and if I grow outdoors, this is the first one going in. But until then, or until I get a larger tent.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that, there's like Mean Gene, Mendocino Freeborn Selections. He does a lot of breeding and selecting for outdoor cultivars and just crushes it. But that's not my environment. So sometimes I've kind of shied away from maybe putting in a bid. I don't know. Have you had much experience with that? Trying to run some strains, regardless of breeder, that were bred outdoors, trying to run them indoors and had success, mixed success, anything like that, Dave? I know you've tried some of Mean Gene's.
So far, I've had success with his stuff. I haven't had any issues with any intersex traits or anything like that coming out on me. But that's something that it definitely can be a problem when you go indoors with something that's bred outdoors specifically to be run outdoors.
Yeah, and I'll specifically, and I just want to give him credit too. I kind of learned that or know that because of him. He's the one who explained it to me.
Yes.
So yeah, he's very upfront for all breeders. He's talking about everything in general. He's a good educator, and he's got some killer gear. But that's good to hear in your experience that you haven't run into it. I'm always kind of like over cautious too. Like it's a great thing to like undersell and overperform, or over deliver. That's what I like to do, and I think he might be doing a little bit of that as well, just underselling and over delivering, because that's what makes people happy. You don't want to oversell and under deliver.
I think you hit the nail on the head as far as how he works and operates, because that's everything I've grown from him has been phenomenal so far. So definitely worth the price of admission.
Yes. Still must be this tall to ride this ride. No.
Yeah, your wallet must be that tall.
Yes. But that is good. So, kind of one we mentioned, or I mentioned earlier before the show, because I just got a new pack. And I'll give you guys time to maybe dig out a pack. But what is one of the fun or more enjoyable or silly, even though we already saw that ice cream cake, enjoyable packaging that you guys have got? Little story the other day, when I went to Amsterdam a couple years ago, Katsu Cafe. It was the Big Buddha cheese. That was the favorite strain of the trip. We tried a lot. But yeah, the Big Buddha cheese, and he has his own seed company. So I was going to try to get some of that from him. I wasn't able to, but I got something. It's called Big Buddha's King Kong. It's a Gorilla Glue number 4. There we go. Times cheese, times a White Widow feminized. And this is kind of some of the, the smell, the taste, and the info on the back. Fems, yeah, I'll give it a shot. It's a big Buddha seeds there. Anyways, he's the big Buddha cheese guys. But the reason I brought it up and I brought up the fun packs to you is because it's sent in like a little Buddha. Like, is this is the coolest thing or what?
That's awesome.
Like his head pops off right there. His head pops off and the seeds are inside. If I tilt it, you might be able to see him. But so in terms of like fun packaging, I'm like, oh, because you know I'm gonna take the seeds out and keep this little thing, right? So I thought that one,
you beat me.
That was fun. Or actually, God, this whole time I'm not even like full screening myself. Come on, give myself some credit here. But yeah, it's even little detailed. It's got a little hand and that's cool shit. But yeah, one more time, I'll get you guys the back there. That's kind of the details on it. But yeah, fun packaging. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. But I thought that was great. And yeah, I'll probably open this one up sooner than later. I'm going back to Amsterdam in February. So a lot of the things that I want to pop right now, I'm going to wait till I get back because there is no guarantee they'll be alive when I get back. So, yep, I see. Ela, Big Buddha, blue cheese is the king. Yes.
You definitely win. I mean, my little box here from Pacific Northwest Roots is nice and cool, but it doesn't have a little Buddha guy in there. Like, that's awesome.
Those are cool.
I bought this one specifically because I grew up and I loved Transformers. So Autobots Auto, that just, I mean, I'm never gonna grow it, but I loved that name.
That's awesome.
And just another name that I kind of forgot that was funny that I should have brought out before, Firecrotch.
Oh, good lord, what is that?
A5 Haze to Caramel F1 from Skunk Bank, so Skunk Tech.
Man, Firecrotch. It better have some big red hairs on it. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, with a name like that, I totally agree.
It's got to. Oh, some of these names, though. Some of these names. Oh, what do we got here, Keystone?
Oh, Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. Those are the that's what everybody's going for when it comes to autos.
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't he have to change his name or something like that? Doesn't he like Gnome Genetics or something like that now?
He didn't have to. He got out in front of it, which is smart.
Yes.
Yeah, before Disney comes after you. That's not a battle anyone wants. Nice little glass vial with cork in here. Little wax seal on it. So this is Alien Life Force number 5, and this is back to the inbred line. This is an inbred line, regular Autoflower seed, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if most of the Autoflowers that are on the market and popular for more than a few years are actually inbred lines, because it's just not possible really to keep, you can't keep mothers really. So you're just, making your seed, I guess, every year to keep it fresh. So this was kind of his, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Full Duplex. That's the breeder. But this is sort of his flagship for a long while. He isn't making it anymore, as far as I know. I have the F5 and the F6. And in addition to that, I also have, this was what he called a phenotype isolation. This is Coal Miner's Daughter. And so it is, if I remember correctly, this is ALF. But it's actually he just kept breeding, narrowing down on a darker representation of that. And so it really gets black. I haven't grown Autoflowers since the 90s. Yeah. But I am determined to get back to these. I have a project in mind that Autoflowers would be perfect for. So Connecticut, which is where I'm at, we just passed legalization this past year. And I'm a medical patient. I have the right to home grow. And recreational home grow has been decriminalized for non-medical patients, but it's becoming fully legal in 2023. And ahead of that, I want to have seeds to pass out to people, just to get people growing.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm thinking maybe doing a multi-packs. So a feminized seed, a feminized variety, an autoflower variety, and just a regular seed variety as well, with instructions, or linking to a website they can go to and just figure out how to grow. It doesn't have to be my website. It can be Grow Weed Easy. There's plenty of information on there. So I was thinking about, opening up ALF. You never know. I had enough time, but sort of just enough time to make something and then really rigorously test it. But
yeah, well, I go ahead and finish your thought. Sorry.
Well, no, you please.
I was just gonna say I like your sentiment there, though. It really is about overgrow. Getting seeds or getting clones is usually one of the larger barriers to anybody in a legal market. They just don't know where to get them. And when you have people that are willing to create seeds, actually test seeds, and then give them out for free, just so other people can do the same, that's what we all need to be doing, in my opinion. And a lot of us are, but that's something we can all do to overgrow. Well, how old does that get? Overgrow.
I was in the grow store, a couple weeks ago, and there was this just really nice old couple, and they're trying to get set up, and they're sort of getting taken advantage of by the guys. Not really, but they're buying like $2,500 worth of grow equipment,
right?
Which might have been $700 worth of grow equipment. And I just afterwards I was thinking, man, I wish I had like 20 seeds to give them. Just here you go. At least you're coming out ahead in that respect. This is another Mandalorian genetics. Again, Gnome Automatics now, and this is Gem. So this is an inbred line, and at this point, it's been taken to F9. Off the top of my head, I don't know too much about this. I do. It's not a heavy hitter. This has, if I remember correctly, this is high in, or it's tested high in CBG, if I remember correctly. And he tested it, it came in at about 13% THC. And again, I don't put much credence in any of that stuff. I've had some 14% THC things make the room spin. So I'm not concerned with that. But really, his focus was that it's got a broad spectrum of cannabinoids, and maybe there's some anti-inflammatory relief in here. So that's what interested me about this. And again, because he's taken it to F9, hopefully without even using lab testing, I can continue that chemotype forward on my own. That's my hope.
Right. And if you're a child of the 80s like me, you just gonna say, Gem, it's probably truly outrageous. So
I'm there with you.
You get a winner. Truly, truly, truly outrageous.
More of a Misfits fan myself.
Ooh, okay, all right. We are the Misfits. Yeah, okay. I won't sing
I saw the
80s
Misfits
cartoon.
and I learned things about myself. Anyway.
All right. Let's see what Dave's changed the plot here.
I don't know if they're going to come up on screen. Oh, there they are.
Oh, that's like some blue black light labeling there.
It's tough to see them when you put it directly on there, but that's another cool little thing that Night Owls put out there.
Nice. That's a cool packaging. So does that have the strain type and everything on there, or what's? I can see like a logo there on the bottom.
It's tough to tell, but like you see, this one here that I'm looking at right now is a Pope Banner 3, which is Bruce Banner number 3 auto hit with Purple Pope.
Huh. Okay. Haven't heard that one myself.
Blue Sprayed Shoes remix, which is a Tyrone Stomper F6. It's a Blue Microverse F4. And then you got Pope Sickle, Tyrone Stomper F6 hit to that Purple Pope. A lot of this release was the Purple Pope. That's probably why you haven't heard of it.
Okay.
That was the male used on most of it. So you got Makeda here, another one. It's tough to see, but yeah, we can get some of their not so tough to see ones.
I get the idea there. And now, do you see like a lot of breeders go in cycles, like harvest seasons, like a particular month or two out of the year they have a lot of selections and then nothing new for another 9 months? Or do a lot of these breeders like Night Owl kind of consistently, maybe every 2 or 3 months, come out with another line?
Some of them, it depends. You'll see a lot bigger lines will tend to come out around the harvest times, just because people will generally have more space. And you got the sun, which is free. But there will be people who release lines every couple months just because. Why not? You've got the hype strains.
Well, I guess maybe speaking. Oh, go ahead, Keystone.
I was just going to say that's a bit of a red flag to me.
I agree.
And actually, a breeder offering, really more than 5 or 6 varieties at once, new varieties at once I'm like, how are you really rigorously testing these?
You're more than likely not.
For me,
Yeah, and that that does make me wonder, and that's why I kind of asked too, because some of these, again, I'm not super immersed in the seed collection world, so there's going to be a lot of strains I've never heard of, a lot of breeders that I've not heard of, and I have seen Night Owl around, but like that was one of the strains or cultivars. I'm trying to train myself to say cultivar and not strain anymore, so I'll say both back to back. Anyways,
I'm still digging, Dave. You want to help me out here?
I gotta keep digging. Let's see. Let me pull something else out. What do I got? Jinx Proof. Everybody loves Jinx Proof. Jinx Proof Genetics. This one's kind of a fun name, and this came from shout out 71 DPO. Had a little contest online. I won it. It's called It's Fire, which is a combination of straight fire times It's It. Talk about names. So yeah, that's a fun one. Shiny package. And again, Jinx Proof is kind of part of that TGA Dank collective back from the day. He actually is the reason I was able to buy these TGA seeds. Jinx Proof, I think it was 2012 or something, basically got pissed off because he drove all the way to Tacoma for a place that said they had packs. They didn't have the pack that he wanted, and I'm paraphrasing, but he called up Subcool or Miss Jill and said, this is bullshit, you need a real rep, let me get your seeds in the stores in this state. And so he did. He went around, he's responsible for me being able to pick this up in my med dispensary, so shout out Jinx Proof there too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The most recent I would say would probably be the Acai Gelato Cushman's 11 from Seed Junkie.
Okay.
That could be good. We'll see.
Now
I showed it before, the Fire Crouch. That's another one that just came in.
That one's burning. The question with Seed Junkies, man, on Instagram, I just got hit up by like 5 different Seed Junkie official Seed Junkie accounts, whatever, and the first one, like instantly as soon as I said that, sent me like a price list with the cultivars they had available. Now typically when you're that big of a company, you don't search out business that hard. How do you weed out the bullshit accounts? Because you mentioned Seed Junk, and I'm like, dude, I just got 5 of them hit me up, all saying like, dude, buy this, buy that. I never buy off Instagram, guys, so sorry. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I don't. Yeah. Anyways.
Hey, I get you. There's definitely lots of fakers out there, especially something as big as Seed Junkie is and as desired as his seeds tend to be. I tend to get mine from more reliable sources, like more of the seed banks that have been around for a little while. That tends to be a good place to go. Like actually earlier today, I hate to say, I won a Seeds Here Now auction for a Seed Junkie pack. It was the Kush Mints and the Triangle Kush BX3. So that's when you at least can trust the source it's coming from to know that it's not going to be, Joe Bob Dickbag on fucking Instagram just trying to rip you off.
Right, right. No, that's good point there.
Wait, Dave, is Joe Bob not legit? Because I just sent him a bunch of money.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, sometimes people want to believe, like, if Bohd, some dude like portrayed as Bohd for a while and pulled it off, I might think he's legit, and I would love some Bohd seeds. And if he had like a special price discount pack, I'd be like probably tempted. So yeah, it's just I guess that point with that, going back to the seed junkies, it's like, don't just believe it because you want to, and especially because you think it's a good deal. A lot of these big breeders, dude, they don't need to search out your business. Business finds them. So just keep that one in mind. But what did you have there, Keystone?
So this is some JD Short work, second generation genetics, second generation. Yeah. This is Blue Muda Triangle, and it is a cross of Trinity Lavender and DJ Short's Blueberry. I got to be honest, I have picked up a lot of JD's work because they're they're under $100 a pack, usually about $80 a pack, and they're just like killer lines crossed with each other. Often it's blueberry crossed with something else, but we're not talking about like hot hype strains. We're talking about like,
staples,
older stuff, harder to find stuff, and he's using legit cultivars. So you just know someone with his clout is getting the real deal, the actual clone, and not just sort of believing the provenance of something someone hands to him from somewhere. Who knows? Trinity Lavender, I don't know too much about it. I've heard Inspecta talking about it, and it's supposed to be very different from the European lavender. They're just distinct, right? Like lavender is a common name. You can imagine two people independently pulling on it. And the last time I was in Seattle, I had some lavender, and I thought it was Soma's, but now it's leading me to believe that it's actually Trinity Lavender. Who knows? Anyway, it was interesting. It was good.
I do know that actually the TGA and Jinx Proof back in the day, they were putting out testers that were called a lavender. So there was a lavender from them up in the Seattle area as well. I know that much.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to the inbred line for a bit, and this is going to be a popular one. Again, from Humboldt CSI, this is Pine Tar Kush. Another one that I can't wait to just do a big increase on. Just, grow as many of these as I can, open pollinate them, and just get 1,000 seeds to go through. Well, not personally, but,
Yeah.
I'm a seed hoarder. I definitely have a problem. So.
I know that game.
Of course, not all of us call it a problem, but
Right.
Wow, that Pine Tar Kush, man. I've told the story many times, but I have a story about me, the Cannabis Cafe in Canada, and Pine Tar Kush, and being higher than I've ever freaking been. Holy cow, that's one heck of a strain.
I'm hoping that I find there are just some flavors from the 90s that I remember, but I haven't seen since. Just spicy, piney, skunky, just almost like pepperoni-ish almost. That's, you know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like meat spice. Am I off base?
Italian sausage.
Yeah, like Italian sausage.
Yes.
There was a strain called Buddha going around in the 90s. Do you remember that? Did you guys ever hear that? This is sort of before things were being named, but not not really. Anyway, and that was a flavor that was an East Coast thing, uh, and that was a flavor that, I mean, it got me like hallucinating. Um, it was so strong. So we'll see.
Jealous. I never got to try it.
Yeah, Skunk Ape Glassworks in chat is mentioning dog shit, which actually until a few years ago I thought it was just kind of a joke, but I do remember that being a strain name. In the '90s, to me, a lot of things had like a spicy kind of '90s spice taste. I always associate with kind of like Afghanis, similar to like you're saying and searching for. So to me, a lot of that. Brings back those memories to me, and that was at a time when strains to me didn't have a lot of names. One of the few names that I remember is like AK-47 and Alaska Thunderfuck, and then the dog shit. But yeah, a lot of and it just probably was my level experience. Everything was chronic or dro, whatever.
Or kind.
But
Yeah.
yeah, kind.
KB.
But yeah, a lot of the '90s, a lot of '90s weed, as I say, did have that spicy taste, which I, in my head, associate back to Dutch genetics and a lot of the older strains. So interesting. Let's see here. What did Dave throw up here?
Well, you
now?
mentioned dog shit, so this is Hong Kong Fooey, which is dog shit hit with the Old Family Purple, the T1000.
Okay, because not many people even remember it. I've only heard it mentioned a few times, and I've asked, like the James Louds and all the breeders that come on Future Cannabis Project. I'm like, what about the dog shit? And only one of them was like, yeah, I think it might have been something, but
I'm pretty sure Inspector's worked a few of them. So
wow, that is awesome. That gets me awesome, dude. This gets me closer to tracking down something from the past, because I'd love to just even smoke it again, just to see if it. Same thing, Oh, that's rad. So Hong Kong, Fooey, Humboldt, CSI, was it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Dog shit and Old Family Purple.
Wow, I will go down that road.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that Old Family Purple. Here's it in the S1. And there's me actually working with it myself. Hit with some T1000, hit to the Jarro from Mean Gene and Freeborn Selections. Then I also took a male of the Katsu Bubba, hit with the Jarro, and then hit that to the T1000 Jarro. That's my own personal work, but we'll get that out of there. We're talking about other people's real deal seeds, not me making my own crap.
It's good. It's good starting material though. That I actually really, my stomach loves the Katsu Bubba. Like that's one that will treat my stomach right when it's not having a good day. So good starting material there.
Let me ask you guys. So you make seeds too. You're not trying to sell them. I make seeds. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm motivated just by preserving stuff. I just want to. It's not always about opening it up, but it's about just having access to it. And for me, like, I can only legally keep 6 plants, maybe 12 plants. I don't really have the option of keeping a lot of clones. It's risky for me to do that. But I can keep as many seeds as I want. Even before legalization, I could keep a ton of seeds. So that's sort of why I'm like so seed obsessed. What causes you to make seeds? I mean, what compels you? Because you're sacrificing a lot to make seed. It's not the end of the world, but it's not for everybody either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still will break down the buds and smoke them. It's not the end of the world. But for me, it's just about playing. Yeah. It's just of course, I love it without the seeds, but I'll still make do. But for me, it's a matter of playing around. It's just having some fun. Would I like to have a purpose sometimes? Yes, I do have a purpose sometimes, but for the most part, it's, hey, I really like this male. I like the characteristics I see in him. Let's see what he does in the tent. Let's see what he does with these ladies I have here, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, just get involved, be part of the game, get some more experience. It's another aspect of growing plants that not everybody gets into. For me, it was just preservation. of my ability to be able to grow. Again, it was back in the medical days, and once it went recreational, well, you can't buy seeds and you can't buy clones anymore. So I kind of saw the writing on the wall, and I wasn't really hip to all the seed banks and all the other varieties of ways to get them. So I was like, I need to start making some seeds. And so I just started making seeds. And now I have, obviously enough of a base and I get new stuff. But if I find something that really hits my body well, again, I kind of, I love the recreational side of cannabis, but it's really medicinal for me. So if I find something that does my body good, damn right, I'm going to make some more seeds of it and keep playing with it and see if it's continues to do that. So it's really just about preserving and going forward and meeting my own needs. Really, that's why I started doing it. But you're right, though. Sorry to say that, but you're right. It does eat into your plant count. So be it.
No doubt.
So be it. My plant count isn't high. Washington's a pretty dang low state, and you have to have the med card for it. But even at that, it's me and my wife, so we're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let me dig into my box. What?
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so I mentioned this one. I showed it last time, but dropped it. Twin Peaks. This is Chem 91 is like one of my all-time favorite strains. And Fresh Baked, he was on last time. He heard that. He sent me these. But Chem 91 BX2 times Chem Cis. Twin Peaks. I mean, come on. Twin Peaks right over the shoulder. Can that not be a better fit? Lucky Dog Seeds. So Skunk VA. So if you're going to get anything chem, that's really kind of the one person you want to be getting it from. So that one I've got excited. What it's another cheese, another greenhouse cheese. So we'll give their cheese a try as well.
Have you ever tried the Inspecta, his UK cheese?
No, I'd give it a shot though. I honestly repeatedly say United States does not have a good cheese anywhere available for me to smoke, so I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah, that's another profile I'd love to find myself. That's why when I saw that this was a freebie that came with this bad guy right here, I was more than happy to bring that aboard and just give it a chance. I just it just keeps getting pushed back because I grab something else and then I grab something else and then I grab something else, and eventually I'll get to it. Eventually I'll get there.
And now the Chem and Me sees in that dead zone. I can't quite read it, but it looks like something times a Chem Dog.
It is. It's Patient Zero and Chem 91.
Oh, look at that! My Chem nose sniffed that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wonder, do you ever on the website, do they give much of a profile or what to expect from it? Do they know?
Not so much that, just more of like a breakdown of the lineage, maybe a somewhat of a description of the smell. But certain times of the year, if you hit up his website directly, like Keystone was saying, you can get some good stuff, and he'll have some great deals, like around 710, 420, really good deals. But it's an old school kind of way of getting it. It's I don't without going into too much detail, it's no credit cards involved.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I don't want to set anyone's expectations extra high, but every time I've spent a couple $100 with him, he's just packed the envelope full of stuff. I mean,
Yes,
stuff that I
you
didn't
get
order.
extras.
Just tons, and not irrelevant stuff. I mean, sometimes you get freebies and they're just they're not even related to what you're ordering. So it's great, thank you, but I'm never going to grow this tester you're sending me. I'm not your guinea pig. But he's sending really neat stuff along with it, along with what you order.
That is cool when people stoke you out. But yeah, I did get a pack of Santa Marta Haze, which is cool. If I was outdoors in a equatorial climate, I'd probably grow it. But it was a 15-weeker. I'm not fucking growing 15-weeker a 15-week flowering strain. Hell no. Inside? Sorry.
Yeah, stick it in a corner of your flower tent. Leave it on 12/12 the whole time.
Right? Oh, no, I'm not going to do it. But it's still there. It's a thought. Again, that'll be one day I could play with it. Because it's a phenomenal strain. Like, I really would love to smoke it. I just can't be bothered to grow it. Oh, well. Couple more. Oh, let's see here.
I saw someone in chat say Ghost OG and Sky Jarro, so I had to.
Well, that was your
throw that
winner
out
from
there.
last episode. That was the one that exceeded all your expectations.
No.
Right?
It was
No?
this one. The runts. Everybody hates on runts,
right.
but that Gelato 33 Cherry Limeade male.
Yep.
Oh my God! Everything it touches is just a winner. I can't wait to run the purple unicorn, which I showed you last time, from Bohd, the Bohd Mean Gene collab. Because that male is just a winner.
Huh.
So
Okay.
if you can find it, guys, get your hands on that. Anything with that male.
Yeah. Let's see. The closest I have is the Temple Runts. This is
Temple
from
Runs.
Ethos. Let's see. Yeah, Temple Runts F1. That was from Ethos Collective. So that's the closest I have to like a Skittles or a Runts, and it's a Temple Kush times just Runts.
Mm-hmm.
But Ethos is fairly good. They put out frosty stuff. Honestly, had one of them throw nanners in the third week, which is typical. Cookies, it can happen. But I also had two that were perfectly fine and stayed perfectly female. So,
Hey, look at the draw.
right. Still not disappointed though. Still good smoke. And then I guess the other one that I got from them, and this was courtesy of a grower from the DGC. He has 2 subscriptions to the multi-pass, so he gets like 2 of everything. He's like, dude, I cannot grow anything. He put up a list on the DGC and said, hey, anybody want anything? Holler. And this was a Chem OG. Hey, you can't read it, can't see it. But this was my first Chem OG BX3. This was my first something official with Chem in it. And then I got that Twin Peaks. And then the other day I just got Cali Connection Chem Dog number 4. Let's see, you can see in the bottom there, but yeah, Cali Connection. So these will go in. I'm gonna see what that Chem 91 or what the Twin Peaks gives me first. And then I'll probably stick with that for a while again because of limited plant count and so many things you want to go through. I'm not trying to fully exhaust my chem options yet to find the winner, but that is that.
They're loving our discussion of plant count in chat. Obviously, but there's just like practical limitations to it as well. Like I can't fill my whole house. I've got a wife. Like, I'm trying to carve out space for myself to have a few tents, and that's sort of, if I can get 50 square feet, for my grow, that's awesome. And if we could do things outdoors, if I could have a hoop house, it'd be a different story. But we have practical limitations, I think, just in addition to possible legal consequences. It'd be stupid to go to jail at this point. It'd be so stupid.
It really would. And you'd have to be kind of just like the raging asshole, I think, or the just like, I think if you can show that what you're doing is really personal consumption, I think you can still get in trouble, but I think it's going to be a lot better than trying to explain a warehouse for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Because we'd all love the warehouse, damn it. But it's just not practical. Oh, not yet. Someday, one day. Who knows? So let's see. What are we bringing up here now? Another Copa.
So we're going back to Copa Genetics, and again, I love the stuff he's bringing out of his catalog. And so this is Ethos Purple Skittles, crossed with 90s Black Domina. And
Nice.
this is just a really, really great, great buy. If anyone's thinking about, you were just mentioning something fruity. You were looking for something with a little fruit to it.
Mm-hmm.
You could find that in here. I'm getting like grape candy, cherry candy, orange candy, lots of candy flavors
Okay.
out of it. And also like just 90s funk too, just like swampy funk as well. So I like this so much I started working with it myself. And at this point, I've taken it to the F4. So I've been going right towards that citrus, like the citrus notes that it sometimes gets. And you saw the plant that I showed before. I'll bring it up again. This is an F3. It's in pretty rough shape too. It's pretty well into senescence, but this is just, I mean, the terpenes coming off of this are just wonderful. And yeah, it's great. So, this is my own inbred line work. And I have seen a lot of vigor loss in these generations, but it still goes. I mean, it's starting to lock in, which is really neat to see. Really, really cool to see.
Well, that definitely would be. What kind of traits, or what were you going for from the outset that you're now kind of seeing being locked in? Or were you just the happy observer seeing what did lock itself in through your selections?
So I prefer a sea of green style of growing. So I was sort of putting that pressure on it. I mean, as I pointed out before, I'll just make a single meristem, and just let buds form up that. So squat plants, like really squat morphology. I wasn't breeding for color or selecting for color. It just sort of happened that way. I was just selecting for the chemovar. That was really my primary driver, and then vigor after that. And I'll dote on something. I'll baby something if it's going to have the effect that I'm looking for. But it's just good medicine, and for me, it's just really close to that Black Domina crossed with PCK that I was talking about before. It's not quite there. There's like a bit more grape in it, so it's not like Sprite, but it's getting closer to it. So that's what I was going for.
Yeah, grape is kind of a flavor. Candy grape I see coming up from a lot of breeders, something that's being put out there. I also see a lot of peach flavor going on right now, so it's almost again kind of the renaissance of the flavor, the candies, the grapes, the fruits. That's the word I'm looking for. Jeez, wow. I don't know, Dave. Do you have anything that's kind of falling under that flavor kind of category or flavor profile for some outrageous fruit flavors? Something that you've grown, or maybe just description wise that you've picked up?
I tend to lean my personal choices towards more gassy.
Okay.
That's just my own vibe. But I do like a good mix of it in there. I do want to get definitely some. A grape is definitely a flavor I've personally looked out for myself. I tried a mass medical grape pupil that definitely gave a lot of that off on the more purple pheno. The more pink pheno was more like a kind of like a strawberry margarita mixed with a little bit of gas. My only gripe with that was it hermed out early, like around week 2, week 3. So
Okay.
it definitely, to me, that it said it was more along the lines of not so much the environment, more along the lines of the genetics. And I had heard other people report that too with it. So it lived up to that. But it flavor wise, it was off the charts.
That's awesome. I'm seeing Mike Dever kind of nailed it. Yes, this does come from Oregon, uh, and Gorski. That might be part of the equation of it. So yeah, that's a fun one. That's a good one. And I hear you too, Dave. It's like if I don't like uh, frickin' snow, why would I buy a pair of skis?
Right.
So I guess that was a loaded question to you. Apologize for that one, but I guess on gassy then, there's all kinds of gas. Gas is kind of one of those descriptor words that I think sometimes can be watered down until you've had that super eye-watering gas. But you were saying earlier that you like the sour D, so what has been some of the gassier strains for you that maybe you've tried or have picked up genetics from, or a breeder? Because again, gas tends to impart itself in many generations or offspring. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Well, the gassiest that I've personally grown myself, and from what I found, was from Katsu. It was a collab between him and Romulan. It was the Space Fuel. It was the East Coast Sour Diesel and Romulan. And it was basically like you were just lighting up some gasoline right in your mouth. That's the profile of its flavor, and
That's
just a winner.
That's what I was looking for. And for a second, I got confused there because you said East Coast Sour Diesel. Yeah, no, that is the official, like, woo, burn your eyes, nose kind of one. But there was also the New York Sour Diesel, which actually had nothing to do with Sour Diesel, just the name, which I always found interesting because it doesn't pass it off. And it's from Soma, who's a great breeder, established breeder in his own day.
It's a winner.
Her Keystone chuckle there. Yeah, sir, a lot of the strains that you have there are going to put off that nice neon green color that I almost don't see anymore.
Well, I just sometimes I shake my head. I get caught up in this as well. But like, I talk with people I don't know that I only interact with over the internet way more about cannabis than I talk with people I know about. Did that sentence make sense? Like, in my friend group, I absolutely have friends that are, really into weed, but I spend a lot more time talking on the internet with people. And like, we're just talking about what it looks like, and we're spending a lot of time on pretty colors and presentation and dense, symmetrical nugs, but like, who cares? Right? Like, at the end of the day, I mean, you care, but who cares?
Right. Well, it's all consumer. It's the bag appeal, but we know as connoisseurs that the smoke test is the only test that matters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone listening here, right? Like, just remind yourselves, we're growing it to get things that are connoisseur quality that you're not going to see in the dispensary, right? Like, let the chumps go and buy with their eyes, right?
Yeah.
But we should be looking for things that have the effect. DJ Short is great, talking about this. What does it do to my head, right? That's what I'm growing for. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. No. Well put. And you're right. We are searching for. Oh God, this is a rad pun. But the cut above the rest. And what do you guys do when you find something like that? Because that's how I typically fill up my room. I just reset my room a couple runs ago. I put everything into seed form, but I got rid of the genetics that I was running because, again, limited plant count. I want to try new stuff. So I started. But eventually I'm going to pick my winners, and then my room's going to be full again. So how do you guys go about that process? Like, usually that will take me a couple years until I find enough like true winners to say I've got that room full and then have to restart. But how do you guys go about keeping those clones alive or the winners alive after you find it? What do you do with your winners?
Well, just you go, Dave.
Oh, I was just going to say I basically just keep clones going, and then when I find something better than what I perceived that I already have, it's going to replace it. So I just kind of keep that perpetually going. So just to keep that stable alive of what you love or what you've liked so far.
Nice. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So one thing I might do is, if things are similar, I'll take clones of them and breed them together, to see if they're getting there with different genes. So maybe they can, if it's two limey strains, maybe they can be really limey when they're combined. Um, it doesn't usually work out that way. Um, or I just, cry and sacrifice stuff. Now, I think home brew tissue culture is becoming more of a reality for most of us. I just picked up a book. I think it was called, um, uh, it's like affordable at home tissue culture, and it's a guy, telling you how to set up a tissue culture lab at home. If you can do that, you can keep a lot of material backed up. I'm not doing that yet. I do have a little bit of an in at a lab through friends, but um, it's expensive no matter how you do it. It's pretty expensive. So, like you were saying, Chad, going to seed, like just getting the genes into seeds so you can at least sift for it again later. But sacrifices have to be made, and sometimes you just lose stuff. So, like, give everything away if you can.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. And then, that is kind of one of the hard things for some people. You had mentioned, a lot of the cannabis related conversations you have is all online. And I know infinitely more people online than I do locally, but that's always kind of been by design.
yep.
It's not something that you just willy-nilly talk about with people. And even though it's been okay here in this state for a decade now, sometimes you can't deprogram your brain. So yeah, it's just still just like I don't talk about it really locally. If my neighbor asks, I usually say no, I don't really smoke, or maybe once in a blue moon, something like that. uh I don't think any of my neighbors would watch this show, but yeah, if they knew how I got down, that'd be totally different.
hmm
Oh
No,
shoot.
I started growing in the bad old days where you did not talk about it
Yeah.
at all. You were really foolish if you did. And every time I saw someone talk about their grow, someone else would get rolled over for a couple ounces in a traffic stop and then flip on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a nightmare. You
and
just
that and
don't
that's
talk about it.
Yeah, and that's back when growing 4 plants at home could get you in serious freaking trouble. And that's
Yeah.
so, I'm very fortunate, and I don't take it for granted, but I do forget sometimes how lucky I am geographically compared to some other places in this country, and even in the old world. There's still places where like a joint is a death sentence. Like freaking mind blown. I can't even comprehend that as I'm sitting around like plenty of joints. So that does happen.
A little anecdote here. I mean, I have a family member who, I had no idea that this was going on, but they wanted to grow. For the last 20, 30 years, they were afraid to even seek out pot somewhere. Um,
Right.
and just waiting and waiting for the right to grow. And now that legalization is passed, but it's not taking effect, they were super frustrated. And I kind of came out green to them. I wasn't totally sure they were serious about it, but once I felt them out, I was like, okay, here's how it is. Here's what we're going to do. But there's just tons of people that are super scared, just super scared about it. But it doesn't have to be this way. I was in Switzerland living there right when they rolled back legalization um, in the early 2000s, around 2002, and it's just
Meaning
really
they
open.
meaning they had it and it was legal, and then it went to not okay.
Yeah, so you could grow it,
Eee.
and
Okay.
you could buy it as a bath potpourri. But it's very liberal in that sense, right? Everyone just sort of minds their own business. in that way. But then they decided, no, we don't like this anymore, and it's got to go.
It's weird. I don't see that happening in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, there's always the threat of it, but the old anecdote of you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube once it's out.
It crosses political lines too. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter what affiliation people have, what politician they're following. Like 70% of every constituency seems to love pot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be, or I think that's one of the issues that politicians in the higher ranks will hold on to as a kind of like, I'll play that card if I have to, because whoever comes out and fully says that they're going to legalize cannabis and has even a ounce of framework to it, they're going to pick up a lot of undecided voters. So I'm just waiting for that day. But anyways, that's politics. Politics suck. Yeah. But you're right. It is 70% and probably climbing across all parties of those polled. We've reached the point where cannabis, yeah, but business will business. They just need to figure out how to cut it up and divide it first before they say we have the chance to participate in it.
Right.
So that'll be that. But keep giving out seeds like you've been doing. Keep making seeds like we are, and just overgrow. Kind of back to what we were saying earlier. It's intimidating for some of those people to talk about it or step up, or when they do, seeds is one of the scarier things to purchase for a lot of people.
100%.
There's a lot of unknown. It's not even like a guy in a hoodie in a back alley on a dark rain night. No, it's somebody that you totally don't even know. But again, reputation and good seed houses. And I'm just going to throw up because I feel like throwing it out because I know this place is good. Where to go? Where's my Daga? I'll find it.
Well, having used it personally myself, it's definitely a great website, very quick. Can't argue with it.
Yep, and you've done a lot of ordering through. You've won a lot of the auctions, which typically come up through the Daga. So that's a place where you can find a lot of good breeders, a lot of breeders that you see on these shows. Definitely go and check it out. It just got back up. I was looking at it the other day. A lot more selections than I'm used to seeing. So that's always an option too. But I don't know. Did you guys have any special packs or anything that you guys kind of wanted to throw out or put up before we kind of wrap up?
Well, just in honor of your love for chem, here's some Chem 91 and Williams Wonder from Skunk Tech.
All right. That's awesome.
Willy Dog.
That is awesome.
Untested, but from what I've seen, fantastic.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, have you popped any yourself?
No, not. I only recently acquired these, maybe a month or two ago.
Okay, fresh.
Yes.
Let's see. I've got in the terms of like my next skunk hunt or something skunk. This is from, it says 7-leaf there, but Chiara skunk, Uncle Fester skunk times Chiara Kush. I know I'm saying that wrong. I've got to be, but Uncle Fester skunk is one that I've heard a lot about or used in a few. I don't know if either of you guys have tried any of those or had any crosses with the Uncle Festers in there.
I haven't personally.
I've never heard of it, actually.
Okay. Maybe it's just the circle that I run in. It's getting around, but I'm curious. I want to give that a shot. Cushes are generally a winner. Skunks are generally a winner. It might be one of those older, 90s tasting strains that just knocks you in the dirt. That would be great. Kind of, there we go. South Bay Genetics. That's what I was trying to think. Same company there. Topanga Pines. I popped just one of these again because I had room for just one more. Turned out to be male. Damn it. So I chopped that one down. That was the Animal Larry BX3 times Triangle Canyon. I think Triangle Canyon was the Jungle Boys. Let's see. There's one other one from them, a cherry pine. Oh yeah, cherry pines. That was the other one from South Bay Genetics that I've got here. Hard to get the focus there. But cherry pines, I'll give that a shot. You know, cherry cobbler times Triangle Canyon. I'd love to get some pinene, alpha pinene terpenes off that one if I can. It's in the name, so who knows, right? That's why names are important, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
They're descriptors.
Just the classic blueberry, straight from DJ Short. Can't go wrong with this.
No.
Really, all of DJ's work. I mean, and even just supporting the guy. You know, if you want blueberry, instead of getting it from Seedsman or another white label place, get it from DJ. It gives you so many seeds too, and you know, I think there was some flow included with this as well when I bought it.
Classics.
Yeah. Can I add one thing? Chat is, they're talking about, you know, overgrowing. We've been talking about overgrowing and putting seeds out. But just to circle back to this for a second, I did run into some hermaphrodism only in the male populations in this. And so males and females they turn intersex for different reasons. I won't get into that, but I'm going to do some stress testing on the F3 population before I go forward with the F4. And I just want to remind everyone, like, the worst thing you can do is pollen chuck and then make seeds and then just give them away without stress testing them yourself. Don't do that. Don't be that person.
No, you're not doing anybody a favor. I'm glad you brought that up, because your intentions may be good, but they may lead to disaster. And again, think about it, especially for a person who has a 6 plant limit.
Yeah.
If they plant, you know, 2, even maybe 3 of those seeds along with their old reliables that they keep cloning, and they have to pull out 2 or 3 of those plants from a garden that's supposed to have 6 flowering plants, dude, you've just A, wasted their time, but also B, taken away their medicine. Because when you have 6 plants, you really count on all 6 plants going to harvest. So yeah, stress test, or pick good genetics to start with, and then do a little bit of testing and be honest with people about how often they've been run. There's no shame in saying, hey, this hasn't really been run. Keep an eye on it. If you start with good genetics, you know, then you at least know there's a solid backbone to it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
If stressing it, like root stress, is going to cause it to go intersex, then disclose that. Just let people know. Give them the resources to avoid the problems that they're going to potentially encounter. That's all.
Good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. So thank you. And real quick, Dave, Ryan in chat, I don't know if this was pointed at you, Dave's not there, but he says, how far along is the sour mac you're growing from Blessed Coast? Is that you, or
wow.
is that somebody else?
That's 100% me. Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's on day 64 right now, and that is one that got hit with that Katsu Bubba Jaro male. So
nice.
we'll see what that brings too.
Sour mac, okay.
She is frosty and super stinky.
What stinky? How stinky? What does it smell?
Imagine like citrus, like a sour citrus combined with little hints of petrol.
Okay, sounds good. There's a lot of gas in a lot of things these days.
Yes.
Sour mac. Okay, interesting. And big ups, Ryan. Yep, called that one. Now this is a name that I recognize. He's up in my state, so I always love seeing that. But Dutch Blooms, he's also on Future Cannabis Project as well. What are we looking at here, Dave?
Well, you're looking at some Roberts Creek Congo hit with the Mean Mug, which is GMO and root beer hit to root beer again, the Backcross 2. Then you've also got Kaya's Coffee, the original first Kaya's Coffee hit with that Mean Mug male as well. So it should hopefully be good. I mean, these are another ones that come untested, so I do know that going into them. But it's the most inexpensive way if you want to get root beer in your garden.
Nice. And here's actually another question. I don't know if you know the answer to this one, but Lawrence Popper in chat, Dave, he says, what were the stem rubs on the Katsu, Bubba, and Jaro females? If that was something that you took mental note of in the moment.
The females were definitely more of that kind of earthy, I don't want to say coffee, but just that kind of a smell and flavor to it. The actual buds themselves definitely give that off as well, but that very similar to the male itself. The male was definitely a lot of that good earthy flavor to it. It was basically like you'd rub the stem, and it would give you that kind of like almost of a fresh dirt kind of a smell. It was very unique.
Yeah, I totally understand that smell. It's like walking in the forest every step.
Yes.
Awesome. And so those were a couple recent pickups from Dutch Blooms. I know there's one of the gentlemen I've had on my show before, Mr. Magpie. He's running some of that Roberts Creek Congo Creek Roberts.
Yeah, Roberts Creek Congo.
There we go. That combination right now. So it's kind of fun seeing those come around. It's fun getting to see everybody grow, different things, because once again, there's only so much space and there's only so much time. It's not a fast flowering plant, so it's fun to see other people grow things out. And that's why grow journals and grow diaries are important, because it helps me make a decision about sometimes what I'm going to put in next. If I see something that is maybe super stretchy, I'm like, not this run, maybe I'll hold off. So those things are beneficial too. But whoops, wrong button there. Let's see here. We got those pine tar cushions out front. You guys, thank you for coming and sharing a lot of your collections with us. It's been fun, and it's a great thing to do. I always like to talk about different cultivars and different stories and collecting. We've all been a little bit of a collector in life on many different things, and I didn't ask you that one, I guess, in the beginning, Keystone. Were you like a baseball card person, a stamp person? You collect scabs? When did you realize you were a collector?
I don't know when I realized I was a collector. I collect I collect European board games, and what else do I collect? I collect bicycles. I collect other seeds. I love other plants too. I've got a pretty extensive seed library. I don't know. I'm more of how do I put it? I'm just a seed collector, seed hoarder.
Yeah,
not a connoisseur, but no, I'm just a seed hoarder. I mean, you guys were talking about it on the last episode. I've done the math. Long ago, I passed the point where, I had more seeds than I could possibly grow in my entire life. So, it's about scheduling now and figuring out, how many runs I have in me before I depart this earth. And,
right.
And at that point you realize you got to give some stuff away too. So.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thank you for doing that and raising the awareness. And again, thanks for coming and sharing. It's cool seeing a lot of these things, because again, there's so many different places and breeders and strains out there that not one person is going to see them all or know them all. So it's fun to see some things, and it's cool to see a lot of the DJ short stuff in packaging. That's not something that I see very often. So that's awesome.
We wrapping up, because this is only like 6% of. I thought you guys were long format. I mean,
right.
Okay. All right. I see how it really is.
We gotta save some for another time. But no, we can go if you guys have a couple more that you wanted to
No,
put
no,
out.
no. I was making a joke, and
I'm not gonna stop it.
you're making me
Okay,
regret it.
okay. Yeah, no. This was yeah, no. This is awesome. And again, it was fun. I kind of got to share a little bit of well, actually, a lot of my collection. I don't necessarily have much of a collection, but I have more things than I can pop at the moment. So that's a good place to be.
I think you're
Absolutely.
selling yourself short, Chad. You pulled out a lot of seeds tonight. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm more than happy with them, and they're a big part again, thanks to the community. A lot of some of these, Tommy. This is a contest from Tommy Trichomes on Eagle Show. South Bay Genetics just reached out to me. We've gone back and forth in chat many times. Had great conversations. I talk shit about cookies. He grows fire cookies. So he's like, let me get you something with some cookies in it so I know you'll be growing some damn cookies. And of course I did. But I regretted it. It was a male. No. Yeah, it's fun. And I'm actually looking in chat too. I don't know if you guys caught a conversation about genomics last week between me and Sungrown Mids. Sungrown Mids is another awesome breeder. If you've ever listened to him, he has the knowledge and experience to do these things proper. If anybody was going to get close to an IBL and do it right, that would be one of the people to do it. I just mentioned that. I saw Peter in chat mention that we're going to have some of that stuff, of his stuff, up on Daga.love as well. So that'll be cool. A whole bunch of stuff coming to Daga.love. That'll be awesome. But yeah. Please, guys, if you like, it's hard to stop because I know we could keep going, but we'll save some for another time. Anybody, place, thing that you'd like to give a shout out? Any websites that you want to let people know they can find you on or whatever? Go ahead and do so. I guess we can maybe start with you, Dave. Any shout outs or anything to wrap it up for the evening?
Well, first off, I just want to say you're gonna have to send me your address because I want to send this out to you. Get you some dog shit in your life. As far as any website you could find me on, I'm on Instagram, Dave_not_here, just like you see it on the screen there. You could find me on Cannabis, although I don't really use that often. Dave's not here, same name. Yeah, but volume 3, here we go.
Right on. Sorry, I'm cheesing over here. Woo. How about you, Keystone? Any favorites or anything you want to shout out? Any websites?
I'm on Coco for Cannabis, and the username there is KeystoneCops. So you can follow my grow journals and troubles and foibles and successes. And Instagram, my IG handle is KeystoneCop. Someone else had the other, and that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Awesome, very cool, and I like that website. That is a great resource. I go there for a variety of reasons. Excellent. I did not know you were over there. I need to get over there a little bit more. I usually just read topics versus get back into the forums, but I do have an account, so hop back in there. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll have to check that out myself.
Yeah, Coco for Cannabis. Really cool website. Definitely check it out and check out the light calculator there. I use that a ton. I refer people to that a ton. They have some good information there to compare lights and at least prepare yourself to make a better buying decision. So I love that place for that. And I guess I'll just throw this out too because I love saving money. AC Infinity is good gear. I like it. I've used it. You guys can make your own decisions, but if you want to save some money anyways, if you use Westport as your coupon code for AC Infinity on their website, you get 15% off. Not a commercial. I just want to toss that coupon code out there. Good gear, save some money, buy some more seeds. So that's that. But I'm Chad Westport. You can find me chad.westport on Instagram. Also my website, chadwestport.com. And you can find out more info there. That's going to be updated with some cool stuff soon. Got a couple projects going. That'll be fun. And